I've been lucky enough to play Delta Force over the past week since it launched, and if you care to hear my thoughts on the game, let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, my overall opinion is very positive. It's a very well put together game, and you can tell that the devs dumped a lot of time, thought, and energy and resources into making sure this game received a positive review. Now, for an alpha, like Jesus Christ, this game is polished. The gunplay is great, the mechanics are smooth, and the front end of the experience, meaning like your home base or what they call the black site, is really, really detailed. I was almost overwhelmed. Not almost, I was very overwhelmed when I first logged in because there was so much to do before you even infill. And the purpose of the game is very fulfilling. And with that being said, I think this is a good segue into the DMZ comparisons. Delta Force really is trying to be the next best extraction shooter, and if everyone playing DMZ is looking for a new home, this game is going to be it, whether you really want to or not. When we're talking extraction shooters and capturing that market, there isn't another console game that, number one, comes close to DMZ, and number two, is even on the horizon. Yes, you probably know that PUBG is launching an extraction shooter, and you probably know that it's being ported to Unreal Engine 5, but there isn't even a real timetable for that game, so Delta Force is here to fill that gap. Where I think DMZ players are going to struggle is with the pace of the game. Where DMZ is a very forgiving run and gun FPS, Delta Force really changes the tone. It's a very, very unforgivable, much more tactical game. You're not slide canceling and breaking cameras all over the map. The gunfights are much more daring, and there's a real consequence in fighting and losing, and a real reward in fighting and winning. In DMZ, you have insured weapons and you can craft good gear, so with 15-minute cooldowns and a ton of operators, losing anything in that game is basically meaningless. In Delta Force, you can build a $500,000 gun and lose it to a guy with a $30,000 gun if you're not careful. And losing that gun or that expensive top-end gear or that $1 million item in your backpack that you need to upgrade your black site hurts so bad. So I wouldn't tell DMZ players that they're going to love this game. It's not a one-for-one, and it may not scratch that itch for a lot of players. It actually doesn't even scratch the itch for me. I very often jump onto Delta Force for a few hours and then jump on DMZ right after to get in my fast-paced PvP fix. I think it's important to know that the Delta Force team is a team that worked on COD Mobile, and it's widely known that some of the DMZ devs that left Activision went on to work at Team Jade and the teaming group to build this game. So if you're holding out on a DMZ 2.0, just don't hold your breath for too long. We know that DMZ was Infinity Ward's baby, and they won't get another go at DMZ until next year if they do decide to pick up DMZ again. And all the changes that were made in Black Ops 6 point to DMZ not returning this year. And if Infinity Ward wants another DMZ, they're going to have to reverse everything that Treyarch did in Black Ops 6. And you know the COD sweats are going to hate it when they can't slide cancel backwards or do a somersault off the top of Verdansk with an RPG in one hand and a sniper rifle in the other. So how would I rate this game? I would rate this game a good 8 out of 10 when not comparing it to DMZ. And if you want this to be DMZ, bro, you're going to have to look somewhere else or just milk those damn servers, because this is not going to do it for you, man. It's just not. It's a good game. It's just not DMZ. And now I'm kind of done comparing it to DMZ because it's just not DMZ. All right, guys. But I do want to get into the AMA that they had today. This video is probably going to be dropping around 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, but I was present in the AMA that happened last night. So let's get caught up on what they had to say when asked all the tough questions. So one of the first questions asked was, when is the alpha going to end? And their response was a clear first week of September. So if you don't have a key and you want to play this game, you'll need to act fast because we only have a few more weeks with this game and we don't know when the beta is going to be released or if there's another alpha stage set for later on. They were also asked about accessing alpha keys. If you didn't know, you need an alpha key to play the game. And the way the Delta Force team handled the alpha keys was, it was pretty bad, guys. It was pretty bad. And I'm saying that nicely. Like, as a creator, I was supposed to get X amount of keys for promoting the game, and just for being a creator, I was supposed to be giving a certain amount of keys, and I was only given half of those keys. And some of those keys didn't even work. The creator Discord server was full throttle with creators asking about how to get keys, and mods telling us basically, oh well, Like, we messed up, we're sorry, but we can't give keys, open a support ticket. And the admins in support would tell us basically, oh well, you know, we have new events coming up, you'll have another chance. So a lot of creators were basically promoting the game for free. It really wasn't a good feeling. Like, it sucked to have to create content to get keys, not get those keys, and then for them to tell you, oh, just create more content, you know, we'll give you more keys, we'll give you other keys, you know, later on. And then have to sit around and wait for those keys a week or two after we created the content. It wasn't a fun experience, y'all. But I try to give them a benefit of the doubt because it is an alpha, but they could have just made it an open alpha, and I'll get into that later. I mean, the good news in a sea of bad news is that there are more alpha keys to give out. And that leads me to a tiny rant. I'm not going to go on for too long about this, but like, they have given out or intend to give out over 300,000 keys to this game. My question is, if you're giving out that many keys, why not just make it an open alpha? Why make us jump through all these hoops to get game access if you plan on giving out keys to essentially everyone? And that leads me to my next topic, and that's the damn bots. There were major complaints with the amount of bots in both game modes. Bots disguised as players, and when asked about the bots, their response was, well, we implemented bots to speed up queue times and fill lobbies when the players were missing. But it's like, come on guys. If you made it open, if you just made it open, you wouldn't need the bots, or at least tell us that they're bots instead of hiding it behind fake player names. It was beyond ridiculous when you're in a game and 80% of the lobby is freaking bots. It's crazy, man. Or losing loot to a freaking bot in the extraction mode. It was insane, especially when there's only 2 maps. And if you grinded out this game, like, there's people that are level 40 already, and they've grinded out this game so much, they know all the spawn points, so they're spawn pushing everybody. And they actually touched on the maps too. Like, believe it or not, they're going to release another map for the alpha, which is pretty crazy to consider that it's an alpha. They released with 4 maps, 2 in the Havoc Warfare mode and 2 in the Hazard Operations mode, which is technically now Tactical Turmoil. So 2 maps in each mode. I don't remember if they said it was going to be in the Havoc Warfare mode or the Hazard Operations mode, but they are going to be adding another map to one of these modes before the alpha ends. I mean, so that's something to look forward to. A lot of people in the live were asking about operator skins, new operators, battle passes, gun cosmetics, and I'm just going to dump that all into one category, and I'm going to call that monetization. As we all know, Delta Force is a free-to-play game, and the multiplayer part of the game is going to remain free, and the campaign is going to cost you your actual hard-earned money, though they didn't talk about a price. And in order to keep the game going, they are going to have to obviously make money, and they're going to have to do that by selling cosmetics and skins for guns and gear and operators. And they have promised that they will not introduce pay-to-win features. And of course, that comment got a lot of applause, though we'll have to see what their idea of pay to win really means. I'm hoping they don't add bundles that give you a ton of in-game currency or the ability to buy a bigger stash or a safe box, you know, therefore bypassing the upgrade system in the black site. They also mentioned specifically that we will not be seeing Nicki Minaj operators in the game, and they will be sticking to the game's theme when offering cosmetics and adding in new operators. And the live chat, you know, overwhelmingly seemed to appreciate that direction, but I have to say there were a few in the chat, apparently big Nicki Minaj fans, that were, you know, a little heartbroken. So if you're a big Nicki Minaj fan and you're on my channel, leave me a comment below. Let me know how sad you are that Nicki Minaj is not going to be in Delta Force. Another big question regarding gameplay was asked, and that was about the TTK, the time to kill, and the weapon and gear balancing. It's been a noticeable factor and the talk in the community that the TTK is ridiculously fast, and those that normally engage in the fight first typically win the fight a majority of the time. So there's a tiered system to armor and ammo, and it's known that if you get hit with a purple ammo wearing green gear, you're essentially done for in a split second. Even purple ammo shooting purple gear is a fast TTK. Now imagine going bankrupt in the game, which can happen, it happens a lot, going in naked, no gear, no guns, and running into a team geared up to the nines in purple. And the dev's response was that they're going to listen to the feedback during this alpha and make game adjustments where needed. And I think the TTK is definitely one that needs to be addressed. When you couple that ultra fast TTK with the 2-down system where you can't be revived after your second full death, it's going to make the game way too hard for the casual base. And if their goal is to capture a wide audience, they're going to need some casual players. They need to capture the casual base. And one of the biggest topics discussed was controller support and aim assist. And let me tell you guys, let me tell you, the mouse and key players were so pissed off. I'm talking about pouting and saying they're uninstalling the game right now when the devs said that they were going to definitely add controller support and aim assist. Like, I mean, I'm not kidding, guys. The chat went crazy. Obviously, the controller base was extremely excited about the controller support. But the mouse and key players, brother, saying that they were uninstalling immediately, saying it's dead on arrival. They said it was literal, built-in, dev-approved aimbot. Like, it was the funniest thing to see. All the mouse and key players absolutely lose it, and even the devs had a laugh at them, and said that they would provide emotional support. But let's be serious, guys. Everyone knows the game is coming to console, and with that comes control support, and with that comes a balancing game, right? Like, in my opinion, if you can't see the advantage of mouse and key and you're that mad about the controller support and aim assist, like, you know, get better or uninstall. And that's what I got to say about that. And that leads me to crossplay. They did talk about the importance of balancing crossplay, but didn't go into detail. So while my thoughts are few, they know that crossplay is something to take seriously, and they're working on that balance. In terms of console support, I mentioned earlier that the game is coming to console. I think we all know that by now. And they actually said that having a working console version is important to them, and they have a working console version in the studio that they've been playing on. In the previous Q&As, they mentioned that they understood the importance of controller support, but they didn't have support just yet. And now currently there is a way to play Delta Force with a controller using a program called Rewazda. It's a workaround and it's not native to the game, but it's exciting to hear that they have a console version working already. And they said that they'll have console support a lot sooner than we think. And the last part of the AMA, or scattered throughout, but I'll kind of sum it up in the last part of this video, is that they did talk about minor things like adding fighter jets to the Havoc Warfare mode. They're actively working on that. Editing guns and loadouts mid-game will be possible in future versions of Havoc Warfare. Global chat is a big problem right now. Currently, it's open for everyone to see, and anyone can say anything they want, literally anything, and there's no filter. So they're working on that. They talked about prox chat in the extraction mode and said prox chat will not be a feature added to the game, citing that it would give our positions away in game. So it's been asked a lot in Discord, but it's now official that they won't be adding prox chat to the game. No word on assimilation, but hopefully they touch on that later. And lastly, anti-cheat. The game is a week old in alpha, and believe it or not, there are already cheaters. It's definitely sad to say and see. If you do a quick Google search on Delta Force Hawk Ops cheats, you'll see the cheating communities foaming at the mouth for cheats and posting screenshots of them using wall hacks already. The Delta Force team has a kernel-based AI cheat, and they have asked us, to remain diligent in reporting suspicious behavior, and they haven't ruled out hardware IP bans. So the anti-cheat is supposed to be one of the best akin to Valorant. So, we'll see how that plays out. We know it's all going to be a cat and mouse game. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know what y'all think of the game so far. If you have played it, if you haven't played it, let me know your thoughts on what you've seen so far. So that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. If you really want to show some love, sub to the channel, and I'll catch y'all down in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Side note, if you made it this far in the video and you don't have an alpha key and you're on PC and you want to play the game, let me know down in the comments. I got a few extra keys to give away. I don't know who I'm going to give them to. It's just going to be random, but drop a comment down below. Let me know you're on PC, and maybe you'll get a key. See ya.